Hey y'all, well, today I'm working on the Marliss. I guess y'all haven't seen it since I got done painting it, and I need to show it to y'all. And a lot of y'all don't know, or probably don't know, that the new people that's to the channel, I've been working on this drill since probably the first of the year, maybe December. I want to say I've tore this grain drill of ours completely apart, and I've been completely refurbishing it and rebuilding it. I've painted it, rebuilt all the plows, the planters, the seed cups, everything. It's been redone. I've done everything myself other than just a few pieces I had to get machine new that weren't available through Marliss, and I couldn't fix. But I finally got everything rebuilt, and I'm starting the reassembly process, and it's done painted. So I'm going to show y'all what it looks like now that it's done painted, and I'm going to show y'all how to start the rebuilding process in this video. If y'all want to know how this thing looked before I started, just go back to my videos and y'all can find video footage of me tearing it apart and how bad it looked. The reason why we're doing this is because the new ones are just so darn expensive that it made more sense just to rebuild this one. But if we would have had to hire somebody to do all the work I've done, it would have been probably just as cheap just to buy a new one or a good used one. But being I was able to do all this myself, and I had the tools to do it with, it saved us a lot of money. So go over everything. I've got all the planters and everything off there. Over there next to the lawnmower, I got to put the front disc back on today. The planters, the actual planters, I got some pieces in the shop that I've got to paint that I hadn't got painted yet. I forgot about them, that the springs hook into before I can stick those on, or they'd be going on. But this is it. It's got a brand new paint job. The letters have been redone. The tank's been repainted, and you see a little bit of rust spots. I didn't try to make it perfect and sand it and bondo it and everything. I did sand it. It is just an old grain drill. So repainted the frame black, as y'all can probably tell. It's got all new. The wheels have been painted new white. The bin is brand new green paint underneath. The only thing I really changed about the way it's been painted is the closing wheels. I did not paint them white like they originally were. I painted them black. The replacements were black for it from Marliss, so I just painted them all black. This frame part here was originally green, but all these were black, and I did not want to have to take all those off individually just to repaint them. So I just taped the ends off out here, and I just repainted all the beams on it black. But the bend and everything is still green. The only thing I've changed the color on is these and the closing wheels. Everything else is original. The wheels, I got them, as y'all seen, painted new white paint. I added these. It didn't have lights. I added those because the way our roads and everything's getting, it's just crazy around here with traffic, and it's far safer nowadays to have lights, so I'm adding lights to it. As y'all can tell, I've put the seed cups back in, and I'm reassembling those, or got the new pieces in here. All these were shot. These gears, or the feeder gears, I guess, I don't know the exact name what you'd call those. I had it, but this piece here is new that closes it, and I found these collars, and I've had to grind them down to fit and put new collars and everything on it. New shaft. It's got a new hardened shaft in it that I'm putting in right now. So I'm going to set y'all up, and I'm going to take one of these cedar cups apart. In one of my older videos I showed how these go together, but being a lot of people hasn't seen this, to save y'all from having to go back if you don't want to, I'm just going to pull it apart, and I'm going to show you how these break down, and then I'm going to slide it back in and finish running this shaft there. I haven't got it all the way through yet. I also put new bearings in the end. It's got all new bearings in it. The only thing I did not rebuild the bearings on was the wheel hubs, and they were in good shape, but everything else has brand new bearings in it. Everything, all the planer disc, all that has brand new bearings. A lot of the discs are new on it, some of them are old. All the compression wheels, I had to hand fix those. I got videos on all that if y'all want to take or interested and want to go back and look at it. But let me get one of these apart so I can show it to y'all. Okay, so the way these cedar cups are designed on these Marlisses is this is your seed gear that pulls the seed down as it turns, and it has a shaft, and the square tubing shaft that goes through slides all the way through this, and you have a set screw that goes here, which I'm about to show y'all. But your closing ring that seals it as it moves in and out of the cup, which is right here, let's slide this back in here, sits in there like that, and see it turns, and that's what makes your seed fall out. Well, as it slides, this pushes inward and it seals it off to close your gap for your seed falling on like most drills have. And when this goes together like this, it has these two pieces, and the inside of those cups, this ring goes on here like that on the end of it, see? And that set screw goes all the way through your plastic into your shaft to hold it. But that's how it all works. And I got them popped back in. Now I'm going to slide this rod through. Gotta get everything lined up so that way it'll come fit through it. Let's see. Oh, I ain't got there yet. All these new pieces, it's tight. And these cups slide in and out to adjust to the rod as you feed it through. Just one nice thing. They're home. Now I got to pick this up, and I'm gonna have to weld that in place to reconnect it, because when I took it out, the only way to get them apart without destroying each cedar cup was I had to cut the rod in between each cedar cup and pull them out individually, because it was rusted so bad. But I'm going to stick that up there and get it welded and see how she'll turn once I get it in place. But that's the new cedar cups and rod put in. I'll go run and weld it, and I got to tighten down each one of these clamps too after I get it welded where it needs to be. Alright, I got it welded up and mounted in there, everything on. The baby's hot, y'all can see. So got that part done. The front disc, I was going to put the pre-cut disc, I was going to put them on, but I think I'm just going to wait until I put the plows on, because it's going to be easier to mount those plows first instead, which will be in the next video. I'll be putting the plows on, the front disc on, maybe the clover box, we'll see, but this thing will be done pretty quick. But I had some comments on the 1837, so I'm gonna go over that right now. Okay, I had a comment from Avery Senior. He wants to know He asked about my cloth baler, but I'm going to wait and answer that part of his questions. He wanted to see these in videos. When I get to clean it out and grease it and everything, I ain't got around to doing it yet. I got to get it ready. He wanted to know, he said, like to see more videos in depth on your MF small baler, and mostly what speed you're traveling at and what's the worst thing about it. Thinking about buying one myself. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Mr. Avery. Well, as y'all can see, I'm right here at it. This video I'm going to talk about the Hesston inline because it is sitting here. Baling speed, you're going to run anywhere from, I'd say 2.5 miles an hour all the way up to 5 if you, depending on the thickness of the hay. And how heavy it is. Extremely heavy hay, you're probably going to be around 2.5, 3 miles an hour, 3.5, somewhere in that area. Mediocre hay, you can run, depending on how fast you want to go, probably 3.5, 4.5 miles an hour. Thin hay, you can run 5. I mean, if it's having no trouble collecting it with a pickup mouth, you can go faster than that, depending on how thin it is. But it just all depends on how thick the hay is. The perks of this baler are limitless, and I'm not saying that just because of this design. Even the case ones that were made were pretty good. They're basically the same baler, and it's just a Hesston's all it is. It's simple. They're stupid simple. They're so incomplex that it's not even, I mean, you have 2 drive chains in here and 1 big gearbox that drives this thing with a rod that pushes your plunger straight back and forward inside, which if y'all go back on the working on videos I had, you can see down in the chamber and everything. I'm not going to do that for this, but you have 1 gearbox, the fork drive, and then it runs up to your knotters up there, which are right here. I'll show those that are right here. Now this machine has 1 shear pin for the knotters, 1 gearbox shear pin, which y'all can probably see, and then it has another shear pin in here for the fly peel. Now the only shear pin that we've broken since we've owned this baler is this one, and it's sheared probably 2 or 3 times, and we've had this baler, I don't even know, we've probably had this baler 5 hay seasons by now. I don't know exactly the model on it. I need to find a serial plate so I can tell y'all, but it is got some hay. It's an older baler. It just hasn't had much hay run through it. And another person had commented on something else about these that I wanted to add, is the doors in here that's right here that have adjustments. You adjust them by these bolts. I think that's the right bolt right here. Now the way you set those doors, they asked me, do you adjust those for your bale chamber density? Yes, you do, but they're not a main adjustment. You don't adjust on them all the time. And the way those work is that's with your hydraulic pressure. If you have these, now the screws, it may tell you differently, but on the side here it says adjust restrictor doors or add restrictors to bale case to maintain 100 to 250 psi on hydraulic bale tensioners. So basically you adjust those doors to where when you're baling and you're wanting to get your strings tight, when the strings are tight at the tightness you want to be somewhere on that gauge that's over there for the knob between 100 to 250 psi when you're baling. And you do that by setting those doors for an adjustment, but it's not an adjustment you make all the time. It's just one that you do after you get so much hay through it every now and then, and the chamber starts to get really slicked and worn down. But I've never had to adjust them. since we've gotten it, it's always been between 100 and 250 psi. So yeah, of course mine's still got most of the paint on the inside, y'all can tell, because when we bought this thing it was gently used. It belonged to a horse farm, I think, and they never really used it much, but we've used it quite a bit since we've gotten it. But and Mr. Avery want to know the pros and the cons. The cons to this one, this is the older model, is it's not got a long enough chute. They went in these newer models and they've made the chute longer, so that way you get a more evenly density bale, because when you really get to shoving hay through it, the chute's not long enough and it makes the flakes too large. But with the longer chute, it helps form the bales better. But that being said, these balers don't make banana bales. I mean, they just won't do it. And with the hydraulic systems, you don't have to worry about tightening left or right at all. You just tighten the one knob. It's just like a round roller tension system, and it will push the bales out perfect every time. Now, since I fixed this baler, y'all seen the videos earlier where this rod was bent from the time we bought it, and it was close to, and it had started rubbing into these knotters, and I had took it off and we got it straightened and fixed, and we have not broken a bale all year to date. Ever since I fixed that and I made that video of trying it to see if it would tie, and I baled up that hay, this baler has not broken one bale all season. And we baled probably around 5,000 so far. It's not where I want to be because the rain has been so bad. They're just not able to get up good hay this year. But I mean, we still got a ways to go. Probably hit around 9,000 this year, but we'll see. But they fixed that. The other complaint I had with this particular model was the twine boxes were too small. It needed bigger twine boxes, which they've added now to the newer balers. These only hold 2 spools of twine in here. They're like the older ones were. And when you're baling all day long, if you bale a lot of hay in a day, you'll have to stop part of the way through the day and refill it with twine. But really with this one, that's the only drawbacks. Now they fixed all this on the newer balers. They've added these boxes and brought them out to here, and I think they hold 4 balls now. They've made the chutes longer. That was one big improvement they've made. The pickup mouths, I don't know if the new ones are wider or not, but I wish this one was probably a foot wider. And the reason why I say that is this pickup mouth is as big, or is bigger than any other square bar pickup mouth I know of. But I've gotten so used to these round rollers with these mega wide pickups now, and our rakes are set up for them. And rather than having to adjust the rake, I'd rather have a little bit wider pickup mouth. But other than that, that's really a preference. But the drawback to this particular 1837 model is it has a slower stroke speed than the 1840s. So if you get a huge wad of hay sucked in to these and you're not paying attention to what you're doing and you're not taking your time, if you do come up on a giant wad, and y'all see this baler baling several times on this channel, and y'all see how much hay it'll eat. But if you get like a big old lump, and I mean a big one, and it sucks it in there, these things eat hay so good that it will pull it all in at one time, and it can lock it down and cause a shear pin to break. Now I know I've only ever replaced this twice in probably, I think it's 5 or 6 seasons that we've had it. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot to complain about with these. I mean, they're just simple and they're good. I mean, that's why everybody has these things, and why they sell so many of them, and they've been the dominant baler on the market for so long. There's just really not anything bad about them. I do know the 39s, the 1839 models that they used to make before the 40s, these augers spun the reverse direction from what I've been told from these, so that way they would not lose the leaf crop that these would, because I think these are downward turn and those turned upward, so that way it would kind of just gently scoot it along, and it didn't eat hay quite as well as the 40 does, but the 40, they changed that back to where it turns the direction that these do, and they eat hay a lot better. The 1840, that baler, I've never ran one, but I've watched them run, and whew, it's near as fast as a round roller. I mean, that thing is just sick. But I would love to have a 40. But I mean, we can't afford them right now, and I want to wear this one out first. But I think, personally, I think Hesston, Agco, or Massey Ferguson, whatever you want to say, could turn these balers up to where they'll bale as fast as a round roller will, if they really wanted to, or as fast as any round roller. But the speed you can go varies on the hay and the strokes. 1840s can take thick hay in at a phenomenal speed, probably for anywhere in the 4 mile an hour range. This one can't, because it is a 37, it's lower stroke. The 38's faster than this one by a little that they make now. The 40 is just, you'd have to watch one to understand, but really that's it. And it don't have the year that it was made on it. I don't really know what model it is. I think it's somewhere around a mid-2000 model, to be honest, because it doesn't have the gray box around the numbers, and that came after later in the later 37s that they made had a gray outer line around them. These don't have that, so, or this one doesn't. But the clean offs for the augers, another thing that were here is a little piece of angle iron that went across that was supposedly to keep these from wrapping. I ripped them off. It eats a hay a lot better without those on than it does with them. Now that's a preference thing. You can try to take them off, see what you think, and then put them back on, but my preference, I took them off. I didn't see any point in them because it just eats hay a whole lot. It's more easier than it did with them on it. It's not a drastic improvement. They're laying over here. I still have them. They're right there where I took them off, but that's it. There's really not any drawbacks to them, and that's just all honesty. I mean, there's just not. They're simple. They're easy to maintain. They're economical, and they're just flat out hard to beat. And that's why most balers, when you go to ag shows, won't show their balers in field with these. There's no comparison. Not to say that a New Holland doesn't do a good job, or a John Deere. They both make very beautiful bales of hay. But compared to 1840 Massey Ferguson, Hesston, they just don't have the speed or the capability that these do. And that's just, they have a patent on this design, and they can't none of them build one like it. So that's just, but all in all, I really like these. If I didn't have this, I'd probably have a New Holland. New Holland makes some excellent squares, balers, or John Deere. But preferably, more than likely, New Holland, because they do just as good a job and they're cheaper. But John Deere makes a good baler too. I actually like their auger design they have over the forks. But thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Hope this helped Mr. Avery and a few other people as well. I'll see y'all later.